We're now in the height of the Christmas season. This weekend is all about preparations for the big day. To help you get ready, there's a lot between today's pages. First up, dealing with depression and the loss of a loved one during the Yuletide season. Then we'll turn the page to important shopping pointers from the experts, the Consumer Affairs Commission. We'll close the pages with a Christmas meal on a budget. Delicious meals that won't break the pocket. I'm Theodore Henry. Stay with us. It promises to be a joyful show.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 23. Government has made it easier for small and medium-sized enterprise (SME) businesses to access loans which are guaranteed by the Development Bank of Jamaica (DBJ) and issued by deposit-taking institutions. In 2009, government established the Credit Enhancement Fund (CEF), under which SMEs can access credit by securing loans using non-traditional collateral. Following recent recommendations from the Economic Growth Council, the Bank of Jamaica has reduced its risk weighting for loans backed by the DBJ under the CEF. The policy change will give SMEs access to $2.4 billion in loan funds. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Audley Shaw says the decision is consistent with government's commitment to a robust economic growth program.
Improving SMEs' access to finance and finding solutions to tap sources of capital are crucial elements to enable this potentially dynamic sector to grow and provide needed jobs and financial stability for Jamaicans.
Minister Shaw was addressing a press conference at his ministry on Wednesday. He urged persons to leave the informal economy so that they can take advantage of this and other such opportunities.
Enter the formal economy, write a business plan, and have a good business idea with a good strategy, and you'll get money at 5 and 6%. That's the target. That is the thinking. That is part of the 5 and 4 strategy.
Transport and Mining Minister Mike Henry says government is seeking to sign strategic air services agreements with 5 African countries. He says talks have already begun with Kenya and South Africa with a view to establishing direct flights to Jamaica from these countries. The minister says this thrust will enable travelers from the Asian and African continents to fly directly to the southern part of the world without an in-transit visa.
The outreach that I have here relates therefore to the open skies by flying people from the Far East across the African continent into Jamaica. Jamaica being the centrally located hub then that distributes them across the globe, both here and backwards. Because, as I said, everyone who lives in those countries, in Japan, all need an in-transit visa to mobilize. It's therefore important that we sign the air services agreement with the countries that make that linkage grow.
Minister Henry was speaking recently at the signing of an air services agreement between Jamaica and Canada. The pediatric unit at the Black River Hospital in St. Elizabeth has been refurbished to make it a certified baby-friendly institution. A lounge for mothers was added and equipped with new beds, chairs, and a refrigerator. An arterial blood gas analyzer, which measures the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in babies and children, was also provided. The project was funded by a $4 million donation from the Sagicor Foundation. Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has commended Sagicor for the donation, which came from the proceeds of the institution's Sigma corporate run held earlier this year. It also financed new directional signage erected on the grounds of the hospital. A new $500,000 water filtration system is expected to enhance the Scientific Research Council SRC's capacity to produce more disease-free planting material for selected food crops. The system was provided by the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute under the EU-funded Agricultural Policy Program. It will be used in the SRC's plant tissue culture unit to produce a higher volume of clean planting material, especially for root and tuber crops such as sweet potato, cassava, yam, and dasheen.
Because no planting materials coming from the SRC Tissue Culture Lab should have any form of harmful microbes because we are producing clean planting materials. And one of the reasons why we've moved into other partnerships to ensure that we can effectively screen our planting materials so when we hand it to the farmers, they can't say that they got dirty plants and introduce them to their fields.
SRC's executive director says the new equipment will also save the council money it would otherwise have to pay for purchasing water. And finally, $49 million will be spent to rehabilitate the Browns Hall Primary School in St. Catherine. The scope of work includes rehabilitation of the roof and bathrooms, electrical upgrade, construction of a kitchen and multipurpose court, and erection of a chain-link perimeter fence. At the contract signing and groundbreaking on Tuesday, Member of Parliament for West Central St. Catherine, Dr. Christopher Tufton, urged the community to assist with the care of the institution.
When the project is completed, the onus is going to be on us in the community to make sure it is protected and that it serves the purpose for which it was constructed. That is to educate our children, for them to get the best possible exposure so that they can grow up and become citizens in our society, in our community, and in our country, and can integrate themselves. That's a very important lesson.
The project is being managed by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, with completion slated for February next year. Funding is from the Caribbean Development Bank. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Bring everything you can, all right? Yeah, man. Right?
Okay, bring
all right, good.
All right, then.
Take care, bye. Christmas is truly a wonderful time to share with family and friends, but it can turn into a stressful occasion if not planned carefully. So don't try to plan and execute a family dinner all by yourself. Get others to contribute in cash or kind to take the pressure off you. For those of you with large families, it may be impossible to give each person a gift. So don't leave yourself broke trying to facilitate everyone. Also, if you want to buy things to give your home a new look, think carefully. Do you really need a new set of curtains? If you buy them, will you have enough money left to tide you over to your next paycheck? If the answer is no, walk away, no matter how pretty they are. Remember, if you don't have to spend it, just don't. The holidays are here to be enjoyed, not to be regretted later by bad choices. Happy holidays from the JIS family to yours.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Today and tomorrow are big shopping days. Please exercise caution on the road. Here are a few important shopping tips.
We're asking parents and family members who are buying gifts to ensure that they check and double check the quality of the toy, ensure that there are no sharp edges, no loose small parts. So you're buying a teddy bear for a pre-toddler. Make sure it doesn't have any removable eyes that can be bitten off and swallowed by the child, etc. And for the adults, it's also to ensure that what you're buying, you buy from a reputable establishment. Ensure that you ask for a warranty. Ensure that the warranty includes whether or not it includes labor. If there's a limited time period, how much is required to be invested by the consumer in order to replace that item, repair that item, and or get your refund. We also think about the safety of the consumer online. And so what we want to ask you to do is to ensure that you look for the key things. Go online, go into the search engine, type the name of the store, look for that green padlock and HTTPS. Remember that S. Before you start entering your banking information. The major block of complaints that the Consumer Affairs Commission gets is on electrical equipment. So we're saying to consumers, test that item when you buy it in the store. Look for that UL stamp on the cord to ensure that it's not some fly-by-night wiring. Ensure that when you plug it in, it doesn't spark. We're also asking that you ask for a written warranty for that item before you leave the store. Consumer protection is about collective security, collective concern, collective advocacy. So we're asking you look out for each other, you ensure that your family is safe, your neighbor is safe, your community is safe, and that the products and the foods and all the things that you intend to consume over the holidays are also safe. So call us, email, write, walk in. We'll be ready to assist for any concern that you may have or any doubts that you may have about any transaction that you have encountered in the marketplace.
This is a time of sadness for some. The period reminds them of a lost loved one. Next up, coping skills for those feeling sad during the season.
I'll be home for Christmas.
I cannot think of you and I apart. We are one, even the beat of our hearts. To say I love you, I don't know where to start. All I can say, inseparable we are.
The poetic words of a creative young man, spoken with feeling by a sister who mourns for him.
My youngest brother and a friend of his were killed in a motor vehicle accident on the 30th of June 2007.
Nakia was the baby of the family. He was only 26 when he died. His mother and siblings still grieve for him. Althea says it's especially hard at this time of year, when they all take that traditional journey home to Mandeville for Christmas and Boxing Day dinners.
The very first Christmas was very difficult because you literally had to will yourself to enjoy something that he would have been a part of, because Nakia was the person who was, they call him Popeye. And that's just to give you a sense of the kind of person he was, always joking. The persons in the community in which he lived, you know, he would say that he always had a kind word for everyone. And so it really was very difficult, especially for my mother, because he used to live with her. And so the rest of us knew that we just had to be there for her to help and to strengthen her, because we knew it would have been a very difficult period for her.
Everybody's laughing, the world is celebrating, and everyone's so happy except for me too.
We come from a family of very strong Christian family, and so we understand the genesis of Christmas, and we know that Christmas is about celebrating the birth of Christ, but at the same time, it was a very difficult and sometimes painful Christmas for all of us, because we're still, the wounds, so to speak, were still very fresh, so it was difficult for us to go through that first Christmas without him.
Psychiatrist Dr. Wendell Abel says Althea is only one of the thousands of Jamaicans who struggle with feelings of grief and sadness during the festive season.
At Christmas, because of the celebrations and the coming together, if you would have had a family member who might have died or migrated or who is not around for one reason or the other, that sense of loss is heightened at this time of the year. Maybe that family member has died or the family member has migrated, and that, as I said earlier, it heightens that sense of loss and can worsen the grieving process.
Besides grief over the passing of a loved one, the psychiatrist says there are other reasons people get sad at Christmas time.
A lot of people do not have the money to spend. You don't have the money to do the repairs to your house, which traditionally we do a lot in Jamaica. But when you look around this year, there's very little activity going around. A lot of people don't have the money to spend, you know, to go shopping, to buy gifts. A lot of people don't have the money to even have a Christmas dinner or to throw a Christmas party. So it's impacting on people at different levels.
Despite the stress, Dr. Abel says most of us already have what it takes to overcome the effects of depression.
We are stronger than we sometimes think. We're a more resilient people than we want to sometimes accept. And I think most of us will cope, but just want to remind persons that there are some very simple things that we can do just to survive the holidays. And it doesn't take a lot of money. Reach out. I think sometimes the reality in life is that in giving, we receive. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to travel from Kingston to Montego Bay to visit somebody. You can pick up the phone. That simple telephone call can make a difference in somebody's life. Sending a card, that's a traditional, age-old, practice. I encourage us. Continue to do the things that we've always been taught to do. And I encourage persons for Christmas Day, don't remain in your house and wallow in self-pity. Do something, yes? We have to take control of our own lives and our own happiness, and don't expect other persons to do that for us. At this time of the year, there are lots of activities that are going on that don't necessarily demand money or call for excessive spending. There are lots of fairs going on. There are, fairs and all over the place. Devon House, Craft Fair, many churches have activities going on. Get your newspaper, follow the media and, follow what's going on and just go out and participate. And, sometimes just going out and going to a fair and just walking around, you don't necessarily have to spend. You're there walking around, you run into friends, you chat, you laugh, and that can be uplifting for the spirit.
So go ahead and embrace the holiday spirit. But if you find that you're still struggling, don't try to go it alone.
We encourage them not to remain trapped in your house and suffer pain. That a lot of services are available out there. The nearest health center may be your first the first and nearest place to which you can reach out for help. And so I encourage persons to visit the nearest health center. We have mental health professionals who are employed to most health centers, and help is available. If there's a problem there, you may want to go to your nearest hospital. Every parish in Jamaica has a hospital, and most of us, hospitals are accessible to most of us, and we can actually seek help.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Not everyone may be able to afford the ham, turkey, or gungo peas. Next, how to use what you have to make an eye-popping, mouth-watering Christmas meal.
Food is the glue that binds many a family gathering, especially at Christmas. This time of year calls for more spending, from gifts to outings and so on. But we still have to consider the food, not true? That's why we're here at the Heart Trust NTA's Cardiff Hotel and Spa, where Executive Chef Faye Dawkins and her team will run us through a Christmas meal that's not only healthy and nutritious, but also friendly on our pockets. Auntie Faye, what's on the menu?
Hi Sharnit, welcome to the Cardiff Hotel and Spa. On today's menu, we are going to be preparing a delicious breakfast that is budget friendly. Chef Ashani Cochrane and his assistant Kadeen Wynn will be showing you how to prepare a tasty Christmas breakfast. On the menu, we have watermelon wedges, cornmeal porridge, steamed kalaloo and codfish, fried dumpling, pressed green plantain, and the good old country chocolate.
That sounds good, but will the breakfast break the bank?
No, it will not. Kalaloo, as you know, is available all year round. You get about a pound 4 ounces per bundle, and that can stretch a lot. Saltfish is a staple, and you get a lot of mileage out of saltfish.
What of the melon?
The watermelon is cheap. It's available all year round.
Now run us through the breakfast.
At this moment, Chef Cochrane is stirring up the saltfish that is going to go into the steamed kalaloo. So he has sauteed onion, garlic, tomato with the saltfish, about 4 ounces of saltfish, and he will add that to the steamed kalaloo. From there, he is going to make the cornmeal porridge, and then he will do the fried dumplings, the pressed green plantain, and the country chocolate.
Lovely, lovely. Santa Fe, by 11:30, I'm hungry again, you know. What's next?
I know that, Shernit. We know that on Christmas Day, usually no lunch is cooked because we're so busy in the kitchen fixing Christmas dinner.
Right.
So we have a little pickings that you can all feast on while we are preparing the meal. We have socks up made from fruit juice, and we have cheese, crackers, and sugar cane to munch on.
What's on the dinner menu, Auntie Faye?
Well, today we'll be cooking for a family of 4. So we are keeping it on a budget. You know that Christmas is a time when relatives all get together. So you can even make it bigger and still keep it on a budget by planning a menu, asking the family members to each bring a dish, and that would complement the entire Christmas menu. Today, Chef Conniff will show you how to sear a chicken breast. She's going to buy the chicken breast from the grocery shop or the supermarket, and she's buying mixed parts. Then she's going to debone it. So it works out much cheaper than if you should have gone to buy deboned chicken breast. Today, we'll be cooking chicken foot soup with ram goat noodle, seared chicken breast, hot roasted pork, steamed fish with okra, gungo peas and rice, ground mashed provision, steamed garden vegetables, and we're using pak choy and carrot, sorrel drink, and Christmas pudding.
Auntie Faye, now that the dinner is over, I know you have some great ideas for the leftovers.
Of course, Shernit. All leftovers can be used in many different ways. You can use the leftover meat to make sandwiches. You can do one-pot meals with them. Just cut up meat and vegetables, add some rice to it, and you make a delicious and nutritious one-pot meal. You can use it also to make sandwiches, for the next day.
Okay, and I know a big part of budgeting is preparing for next year. So what do you think we can do to prepare for next year?
To prepare for next year, you can do a lot of things. One thing we use vegetables all the time. We use herbs and spices to bring out the flavor of food. So you could probably start your own little container gardening where you, nearer to Christmas, you can plant your kalaloo, pak choy, vegetables in flower pots.
And for all you budding chefs, be sure to catch all the recipes from today's meal in this book.
Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright, and the tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways,
We've come to the end of Jamaica Magazine for this Friday. Thanks for spending time with us. Remember to keep up to date with the latest government info. Join us online at jis.gov.jm or watch our programs on our YouTube channel. And be sure to check out our social media platforms. You may also catch a new edition of Jamaica Magazine tomorrow on this very station. Until then, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.